On. Okay, good morning and welcome to the Vancouver City Council meeting of Tuesday, March the 7th, 2023. This council meeting is being convened under, this a little bit. This council meeting is being convened by electronic means as authorized under Part 14 of the Procedure Bylaw, the City of Vancouver electronic meetings. As such, council members and the public may participate in person or by electronic means. If a council member attending by electronic means loses connection during the voting process, team members are available to get you back online quickly while the voting process is suspended. Team members' contact information has been circulated to you. Video of council members speaking, presentations, and vote results will be projected on the live stream when available. Thank you very much. Council members are reminded that in accordance with section 14.13 of the procedure bylaw, members must enable their video to confirm quorum. In case of an emergency where we need to evacuate the building, I would like to direct your attention to the exits. There are 2 exits beyond the glass doors and to the left. If the glass doors are obstructed, please direct your attention to the 4 exits in this chamber, and please use the stairs, do not use the elevator. I would also like to highlight that there is a defibrillator located at the end of the hallway beyond the glass doors outside of the council chamber. I'd also like to acknowledge that we are hosting today's council meeting on the unceded territories of the Musqueam, Squamish, and Tsleil-Waututh First Nations. And I do want to thank them for their generosity and their hospitality and the love and the care that they show the land that we get to live, work, and play on. And I would highly encourage everyone through their journeys in life to take some time out and to not only unlearn what we've learned over our lives, but learn the true history of what's happened on these lands. Where else are we here? Yeah, let's also acknowledge that we have amazing people at the City of Vancouver who work incredibly hard, and they do really love our city, and they're doing it for the right reasons. And I'm so proud that we get to work with them side by side to make this place a better place. Clerk, may we please have a roll call?
Mayor Sim is in the chair. Councillor Carr. Councillor Kirby-Young.
Present.
Councillor Domino is on his leave of absence for civic business. Councillor Bly is also on his leave of absence for civic business. Councillor Boyle. Councillor Fry is on a leave of absence for civic business. Councillor Montague. Councillor Klassen. Councillor Meisner. And Councillor Zhou.
Present.
You have quorum, Mayor Sim.
Great, thank you very much. Any comments on agenda items can be sent to council using the web form on the city's website. The link to that form will be tweeted out on at Van City Clerk. I also want to note the City of Vancouver's longstanding commitment to equity, diversity, and inclusion, including the utmost respect for all genders. I remind council that when addressing speakers and the city's team members, we will avoid using gendered honorifics and instead will refer to the person by first and last name, role, or title. Today we have 3 administrative items: in-camera motion, adoption of minutes and matters adopted on consent, 4 reports and 5 referral reports, 9 bylaws, 3 administrative motions, 3 council member motions, notice of council member motions, and new business, inquiries, and other matters. The plan for today is to break at noon for lunch, followed by an in-camera meeting, return at 3 o'clock, continue to deal with the remainder of the agenda, and finish by 5 p.m. as there is a public hearing at 6 p.m. tonight. Council is required to meet in camera later this week. The reasons and authority under the Vancouver Charter are listed in the agenda. Would someone like to move a motion to go into in camera later this week? Councillor Montague, seconded by Councillor Zhou. All those in favor say yay. All those opposed say nay. Great, the motion carries unanimously. Minutes 1 are from the council meeting of February the 14th, 2023. Are there any corrections to the minutes? Would someone like to move adoption? Councillor Montague, seconded by Councillor Klassen. All those in favor say yay. All those opposed say nay. Great, the motion carries unanimously. Minutes 2 are from the public hearing of February the 14th and the 21st, 2023. Are there any corrections to the minutes? No, would someone like to move adoption?
So moved.
Great, Councillor Kirby-Young, seconded by Councillor Zhou. May all those in favor say yay. Yay. All those opposed say nay. Great. The motion carries unanimously. Minutes 3 are from the council meeting following the Standing Committee on Policy and Strategic Priorities on February the 15th, 2023. Are there any corrections to the minutes? Great. Would someone like to move adoption? Councillor Klassen, seconded by Councillor Joe. All those in favor say yay. All those
Yay.
opposed say nay. Great. The motion carries unanimously. Minutes 4 are from the public hearing of February the 16th, 2023. Are there any corrections to the minutes? Oh, great. Would someone like to move adoption? Great. Councillor Carr, seconded by Councillor Klassen.
Second.
Thank you very much. All those in favor say yay. Okay. All those
Yay.
opposed say nay. Great. Motion carries unanimously. Awesome. Okay, matters adopted on consent. Council will now consider matters adopted on consent. We have 4 reports and 5 referral reports on the consent agenda for council's consideration. Council may adopt the recommendations for reports 1 through 4 and referral reports 1 through 5 on consent. Does any member wish to hold any of these items for debate or questions to team members? Oh. Councillor Carr.
Yeah, thank you. A referral report 3.
Referral report. Thank you. Councillor Meisner.
Thank you, Mayor. Referral report number 2, please.
Just bear with me for 1 sec. Okay, let's see where we are here. Okay, does any member wish to declare a conflict of interest on the consent item? Great. Okay. So we have reports 1 through 4. So report 1, which is amendments to Model Business Improvement Area BIA grant allocation bylaw. Report number 2, approval of Business Improvement Area BIA renewals 2023. Report number 3, campaign financing disclosure statements for 2022 general election, local election failure to file. And report number 4, local improvement approval of billing rates for projects completed in 2022. And we also have referral reports number 1, 4, and 5. So referral report number 1 is miscellaneous amendments, zoning and development bylaw, and various other bylaws and land use documents. Referral report number 4, rezoning 5995 to 6015 Dunbar Street. And referral report number 5, CD1 rezoning 3205 Arbutus Street for the consent approval. Would someone like to move adoption of the recommendations before council contained in the reports?
So moved.
Great. Councillor Meisner, seconded by Councillor, sorry, was that Carr? Great. Councillor Carr, thank you very much. All those in favor say yay.
Yay.
Okay. All those opposed say nay. The motion carries unanimously. Okay, so the following has been approved on consent. So once again, that's reports 1 through 4 and referral reports 1, 4, and 5. So report number 1, amendments to Model Business Improvement Area BIA grant allocation bylaw. Report number 2, approval of Business Improvement Area BIA renewals 2023. Report 3, campaign financing disclosure statements for 2022 general election, local election, failure to file. Report number 4, local improvement approval of billing rates for projects completed in 2022. Referral report number 1, miscellaneous amendments, zoning and development bylaw, and various other bylaws and land use documents. Referral report number 4, rezoning 5995 to 6015 Dunbar Street. And referral report number 5, CD1 rezoning 3205 Arbutus Street. Let's see. Great. Let's see. Well, that was easy. See you guys later. Take care. Okay. Now the following referral reports have been held. So our first report held is was. So clerk, do I go in order of the referral reports or do I go in order of who held? Number 2 first. Thank you very much. Our first held report is referral report number 2. Minor regulatory and policy amendments, zoning and development bylaw, downtown east side plan, RM-8 to RM-8N guidelines, and RM-8A and RM-8AN guidelines, and that was held by Councillor Meisner. So does any member wish to declare a conflict of interest on this item? Okay, Councillor Meisner, you held this report. You have 5 minutes to ask questions to team members.
Let's turn my mic on here. I just had a question about one of the proposed amendments, section 2 on page 4. The proposed amendment is to update the definition of impermeable materials to include permeable pavers. And it mentions that they're not considered permeable over time. So I'm just looking for more information as to how permeable pavers become impermeable over time. I don't quite understand how that happens. And then also some information about some of the alternatives. And I appreciate this is a very specific question, but I've heard from people in the development community some issues around these permeable and permeable pavers.
Yes, thank you, Mayor and Council. Chris Robertson, Assistant Director, actually Director, Citywide and Regional Planning. I'm going to do my best with that very specific question, as I do have some background in, the paver business and in, what can happen over time. What I would say is there, without maintenance, and I really am stepping on my engineering counterpart's toes here, but without maintenance, pavers can build up sediment between the areas that are supposed to be permeable and kept open. And so over time, that sediment blocks the permeability. It acts a little like the sand would in a normal paver situation, and that would cause the permeability to decrease.
Okay. So what would be some of the alternatives that could be used?
Maintenance.
Okay.
Yeah. If you do proper maintenance, you can eliminate that problem.
Okay, so if we're changing the definition to include permeable pavers, if people are still doing proper maintenance, they still would be excluded. Isn't that a bit of an issue?
Can you say that again? Sorry, my.
I'm just saying that we're talking about excluding permeable pavers from the, or sorry, including permeable pavers in the definition of impermeable materials. But what you're saying is that if maintenance is done properly, then they do remain permeable. So we're kind of assuming that people are not going to do the proper maintenance on them.
Yeah, and again, I would defer more to my engineering counterparts on this, but certainly we've seen a lot of cases where it isn't maintained. There's a cost to it, and it's not inexpensive to do, and it needs to be done, probably annually. And so our experience is that doesn't happen. Just it gets missed.
Okay. Okay. Thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you very much. Councillor Carr.
Thank you. Yeah, I hadn't intended to hold this, but if it was held, I have a question. And my question has to do with recommendation AC, which is to remove wording requiring paper copies of plans and drawings in. And so my question around that is this an intent to speed up the approval process? Basically, will it speed it up?
Good morning, Mayor and Council. Heather Burpee with Citywide Planning, and it's just an intent to actually clarify what our current processes are. The current wording didn't indicate that there could be a digital submission, so it really is a cleanup.
So right now it is digital,
Well,
but some people think it might be paper?
Well, it's wording based on how we used to accept applications.
But we used to do it all paper, and we're
Yes.
moving to digital. This is removing the requirement around paper copies. So some people were still assuming they had to do paper copies?
It's just clarifying the wording so that it's clear that that is no longer the requirement.
Okay, so people have been informed of that, but
Yes.
it hasn't been changed in the
Yes.
bylaw. Now we're changing it to make it perfectly clear.
Exactly.
Okay, and that has sped up the permitting process, or not requiring paper copies? Is that?
I believe so. I don't think I can speak to that. I don't know, Chris, if you've got more.
Yeah, generally that is the intent, is to speed up. I don't have metrics on that available. Certainly we could follow up with our DVL counterparts.
Yeah, just a letting council know that would be a good idea after the fact. But I'm happy to hear it verbally, that it is an intent to speed up the process to make it simple.
The intent is to simplify and speed up the process.
Great, okay.
One
Happy to
additional
move-
comment on that, if I might, Councillor, is that the production of paper does actually cost the applicants quite a bit of money. So by shifting to digital, we estimate we've saved applicants about $1 million a year in production of paper, plus it saves all of the handling, storage, and so on our side as well. So apart from the speed, there's another significant cost efficiency.
Speed, cost, environment.
Yes, all of the above.
Okay, that's great. Happy to move the recommendations. Mayor.
Awesome. Great. It sounds like a winner. Oh, sorry. Oh, sorry, Councillor Meisner. Oh, you're gone. All right. This screen's like lighting up. It's doing weird things. All right. So you don't have any questions? Okay. Awesome. Great. Okay. So moved by Councillor Carr, seconded by Councillor Boyle. And I just have to catch up with you now. Okay. Great. So a reminder that council members participating virtually is anyone virtual anymore? Okay, so we can skip that. Thank you. I'm gonna now, sorry. Oh, I'm on the wrong script. So I can skip all these pages now, right? Sorry about that. So I thought we already did the conflict. Yeah, we did do that. Okay. All right. So I'm going to now call the vote. Clerk, can you please take us to the voting screen? Great. So the motion passes unanimously with Councillors Dominato, Bly, and Fry absent. Okay, the next referral report held is referral report number 3, rezoning 653 to 685 East 18th Avenue. And that was held by Councillor Carr. Does any member wish to declare a conflict of interest on this item? No, great. Councillor Carr, you held this referral report. You have 5 minutes to ask questions to team members.
New process of rezoning where it's going straight to the DP stage, a development permit stage, rather than going through the rezoning process. So my question, first question, which has actually come from the public as well, is at what point, given that there isn't going to be a public hearing, instead, lots of the details, I mean, there will be a public hearing on the change of the zoning, but the details won't be in there around the form of the building, the sustainability aspects, transportation, all those sort of housing and the details around that we normally see in a rezoning report. Instead, that'll come at the DP, the development permit stage. Where does the public have the opportunity to comment on those kinds of details in the ultimate development project?
Thank you, Councilor Carr. This is Teresa Lowe. I'm happy to answer that.
We're hearing,
Sorry. And
who's online? No, I think Teresa is.
Yeah, I think
Teresa
Yeah,
is
I'm
on.
online.
Yeah, there we go.
Hi. Good morning, Council. I'm actually sitting in my office to run over there if I need to. But that's a great question, Councilor Carr. And the public is informed at DP stage. We do the same kind of notifications, site sign up, we send out the postcards, we do a Shape Your City. So the public is aware. And as you know, like those zoning cases that go through with RM8 now, all the form of development, those heights and densities and setbacks are baked into the underlying zoning, and they'll have to comply with those. But then the staff will also do a review specifically for each individual property through the DP process and make sure that the maybe upper story setbacks are correct, and they would check the shadowing and that type of stuff. So the public will have an opportunity to be engaged and informed, and their feedback will be considered as part of the staff information when we as we're approving and processing the case.
Okay, and given the change in approval process, I mean, not being the public hearing, does the public have the opportunity to write in or to speak to the development permit board? Or I'm just clarifying in public because I got a question from the public on exactly
Oh, yeah.
when they have a chance to comment.
They absolutely can write in. They can call our planners. They can email us. And at the DP board, the public is allowed to speak and welcome to speak at the DP board, either in person or online.
Great, great, okay. Yeah, and there was another question that came also to council from the public regarding character homes and whether or not, I know that this is sort of tangential potentially to this particular project. And maybe it's not in order because it is tangential. There's no character home in this particular property, so I'll leave that. There's just a concern around comment, when public can comment on the buildings that might be replaced through this process. But I guess that's also at the DP stage? Through the, and to the DP board, is that right? If there was a concern around of the
Yes, that
potential-
is correct.
Okay,
Yeah.
that's good. That's
And when this case comes to council, we can prepare better responses to these questions and so that the public can hear the questions and our responses to these questions when this report is referred to public hearing.
That's great. So that, thank you for reminding all of us of that. This is a rezoning, so of the zoning, so.
Yes.
And we're going to be in a public hearing for that.
Yes.
Okay, awesome. I'm happy to
Thank you.
move the recommendations.
Awesome, thank you. So moved by Councillor Carr, seconded by Councillor Klassen. Thank you very much. Council, is there any discussion? Great. I'm now going to call the vote. Clerk, can you please take us to the voting screen? Council, please register your vote on the voting panel. Great. It passes unanimously with Councillors Dominato, Bly, and Fry absent. Okay. So we have 9 bylaws on the agenda for enactment. Council members who were not present for the meetings related to public hearing enactment bylaws must confirm that they have reviewed the proceedings of the meetings if they wish to vote on the enactment. Bylaw 1 is from the public hearing of February the 14th, 2023. Councillor Bly and myself were absent for this item at public hearing. And Councillor Bly is absent. I have not reviewed and so I will not be voting on this. Bylaw number 2 is from the public hearing of February the 14th, 2023. Councillors Kirby Young, Klassen, and Meisner were absent for this item at public hearing. Councillor Kirby Young, have you reviewed the proceedings and will you be voting on the enactment? Great. Sorry, I got a request to speak. Councillor Carr, is that right or is it? Okay, awesome. Councillor Meisner. Okay, I have not reviewed and I will not be. Bylaw number 5 is from the public hearing of April the 12th, 2022. Councillors Klassen, Meisner, Montague, Joe, and myself were not on council at the time of this public hearing. Councillor Klassen, have you reviewed the proceedings and will you be voting on the enactment? Councillor Meisner?
Have and I will.
Councillor Montague?
I have and I will.
Councillor Joe?
I have and I will.
I have not, and I will not be. Bylaw number 6 is from the public hearing of July the 7th, 2022. Councillor Boyle was absent for this item at the public hearing, and Councillors Klassen, Meisner, Montague, Joe, and myself were not on council at the time of this public hearing. Councillor Boyle, have you reviewed the proceedings, and will you be voting on enactment?
I have not, and I won't.
You, sorry, have not and will
I have
not?
not.
Okay, great, thank you. Councillor Klassen?
Sorry, I have and I will.
Councillor Meisner? Councillor Montague?
I have and I will.
Councillor Joe?
I have and I will.
I have not, and I will not be. Bylaw number 7 is from the public hearing of January the 25th, 2022. Councillors Klassen, Meisner, Montague, Joe, and myself were not on council at the time of this public hearing. Councillor Klassen, have you reviewed the proceedings and will you be voting on the enactment?
I have and I will.
Great. Councillor Meisner? Councillor Montague?
Have and will.
Councillor Joe? I have not, and I will not be. Does any member wish to hold any of the bylaws for debate, separate vote, or for a conflict of interest? Councillor Carr?
I just have a question to staff on bylaw 1.
Okay, hold on. Is that this part right now, clerk, or is, okay, thank you. Let me just reset the timer. Stop. Okay, so bylaw. Okay, would someone like to move the motion to adopt bylaws 2? Oh, question, sorry. Okay, so, and the question is?
Yes, the question again, arising from some public discussion about this is regarding bylaw 1, which is regarding patios, and a concern from the public these will become permanent patios. Will there be the protection of public safety in terms of the adjacent sidewalks or public space, so that there wouldn't be the impeding of movement, let's say, by somebody in a wheelchair, by the creation of the permanent patios?
Chris Robertson, Director, Citywide and Regional Planning. Yeah, the intent is as we move to a more permanent patio program, this is kind of a last step for a small subset of private properties that wouldn't have been eligible without this change. And as part of the review for all the patios, annual or permanent, the review process would include life safety, accessibility, and those sorts of things.
Okay, those are the words I like to hear, life safety and accessibility. Thank you.
Thanks.
I'm good. I can move the recommendations.
Okay, so let me just advance that. Thank you very much. So so just to clarify, would someone like to move the motion to adopt bylaws 1 through 9 and Councillor Carr? Yes, seconded by Councillor Kirby-Young. Thank you. Council, is there any discussion? All right, seeing none, all those in favor say yay. Okay. All those opposed say nay. Great, the motion carries unanimously. The list of approved bylaws can be found on the city's website. There are 3 administrative motions on the agenda. Number 1, approval of form of development 2005 East 40th Avenue, formerly 5590 Victoria Drive. Does any member wish to declare a conflict of interest on this motion? Council, are there any questions to our team members? Would someone like to move the motion? Councillor Klassen, seconded by Councillor Carr. Council, is there any discussion? No. Okay, all those in favor say yay. All those opposed say nay. Great, the motion carries unanimously. Number 2, approval of form of development, 220 East 6th Avenue, formerly 2202 Main Street. Does any member wish to declare a conflict of interest on this motion? No. Council, are there any questions to team members? No. Would someone like to move the motion? Councillor Joe, seconded by Councillor Boyle. Council, is there any discussion? No. All those in favor say yay. Okay. All those opposed say nay. Motion carries unanimously. Number 3, zoning and development bylaw amendments to simplify green building regulations. Does any member wish to declare a conflict of interest on this motion? Council, are there any questions to team members? No. Would someone like to move the motion? Councillor Boyle, seconded by Councillor Carr. Council, is there any discussion? No. Great. All those in favor say yay. All those opposed say nay. Great. The motion carries unanimously. Okay, we have 3 council member motions on the agenda today. Number 1 is, or motion B1 is requests for leaves of absence as follows. Councillor Montague for civic business from meetings on March the 9th, 2023 from 3 p.m. to 5 p.m. Councillor Dominato for civic business from meetings on March the 7th, 2023, 9:30 a.m. to noon. March 8th, 2023, all day, and March the 9th, 2023 from 6 p.m. to 10 p.m. Councillor Dominato for personal reasons from meetings on May the 30th and 31st, 2023. Is there a mover? Councillor Boyle, seconded by Councillor Carr. All those in favor say yay. All those opposed say nay. Great, the motion carries unanimously. Motion B2 is change to acting mayor roster as follows. Councillor Meisner replaced Councillor Montague as acting mayor for the month of May 2023. This is moved by Councillor Montague. Would someone like to second the motion? Councillor Joe, thank you. All those in favor say yay. Okay. All those opposed say nay. Great, the motion carries unanimously. Motion 3. is flag raising at City Hall to recognize Black History Month in Vancouver in 2024, and is to be introduced by Councillor Meisner and seconded by Councillor Bly. Councillor Meisner, you have 2 minutes to introduce your motion.
Thank you, Mayor. We are flying through the agenda today. This is a co-submission through Councillor Bly and I. Councillor Bly is absent today, but I'm honored to introduce this motion today. 1 month, a little bit over a month after we marked Black History Month in February, which provided Vancouverites with the opportunity to celebrate and learn about the many achievements, investments, and contributions of Vancouver's Black and African diaspora, even while these communities have endured historical and continuing inequality, oppression, and erasure in our city. People of African descent have been part of Canada since the early 1600s and prior to the abolishment of slavery in 1834, and also have been part of BC's history since 1858. And the UN General Assembly proclaimed 2015 to 2024 as the International Decade for People of African Descent. The City of Vancouver is working on an anti-Black racism strategy and has signed an MOU with the Hogan's Alley Society to establish the long-term involvement and investment of the Black community in the future life of 898 Main Street block to address the intergenerational socio-economic impacts of displacement and the need for the continued input of the Black community's perspective in the Northeast False Creek planning process and in all of our city planning processes. Large flags are recently raised on the north lawn of City Hall, and standard-sized flags are flown on the Flag Island at 12th and Cambie. The city's protocol office frequently makes requests for flags to be raised on the Flag Island for occasions such as Pride Week and National Indigenous History Month and People's Day. And at least 12 flags are required to cover this entire island at the corner of 12th and Cambie. Most recently, Ukrainian flags have been flown at the Flag Island to show our city's support for the Ukrainian people and our sister city, Odessa, during this time of war with Russia. And the City of Vancouver has specific policies and procedures for flying flags on city buildings and structures. And under this policy, the city clerk has the responsibility and authority for making decisions regarding the flying of guest flags, half-masting, and any other discretionary matters. There are a number of flags that are specific to and are connected to Black History Month, as well as flags such as the Pan-African.
Sorry, Councillor Meisner, I
Out of
got
time?
it. Yeah, you're out of
Okay.
time. Sorry.
Sorry, it's a bit too long.
Before we go to questions, you have some. Councillor Bly's not here, so we need someone to second. Great, Councillor Boyle, thank you very much. And you do have questions from Councillor Carr.
Thank you. I was going to raise a point of order on that issue, so that's great. I'm just wondering, this is a great motion, but I'm wondering if for a whole month, if there is any conflicts with any other dates that we are recognizing when we do fly the flags, and if it's amongst the many flags that could be flown, or how have you worked that out?
Yeah, this is the beginning of a consultation process with the community and also the protocol office. They've indicated that they are getting an increasing number of requests for flags to mark different occasions, and they're currently working on developing a policy to manage all of those different requests. But again, this is just, and this is what I didn't get to mention in my intro, is this is meant to be the beginning of a consultation process with the community about what flag would be appropriate for how long, and any other additional actions that the city can take to recognize this month.
And I'm wondering if you can give me any insight on whether Q3 2023 is doable from a staff point of view?
Yes, we submitted the motion to staff for feedback, and they indicated that
And
it
I'm
was,
sorry, you're at time.
Thank you.
Great, thank you very much. Councillor Joe.
Yeah, so I just want to ask a question to the city's manager through you, Chair. So I think city manager, your feedback to this motion is there are $2,000 cost associated with this flag raising. So I'm wondering, other than the purchasing the flag, what are other costs? Do you have the breakdown?
Thanks, Councillor, or through the chair, Mayor. My understanding is that's the cost of flags and then installing the flags, because we do have, there's a cost of staff time. That's the kind of the makeup of the $2,000 estimate.
Okay, thanks.
Great, thank you very much. Councillor Kirby-Young.
Yeah, just a quick clarification question, tweak something for me, following up to Councillor Carr's question. It's my understanding, just reading the language in this motion, that, and correct me if I can ask a point of question to the mover. You're not suggesting necessarily the flags be flown for the entire month, but you say, for example, I see the language here, to mark Black History Month. So it could be a determined number of days and not necessarily all 28 days in February, for example. Is that correct?
Yes, that's correct, Councillor Kirby-Young. That the duration of the flag raising will be determined in consultation with community groups as well as with the city's protocol office.
Okay, but it wasn't your intent that it's flown in perpetuity throughout all of
Not necessarily, but it will be determined through the consultation with the community.
And I also, I assume, a follow-up to that based on feedback from staff with respects to kind of equitable amount of days are allocated to different commemorations, other events that might be hitting that time of year, that sort of thing?
Yeah, so staff indicated that due to the increased volume of similar requests, they are working on a policy around flag raising and recognizing days or months of significance.
Okay, super. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Councillor Boyle.
Thanks. I was just curious to hear more of if this request came from the community to do a flag raising, or I know the Black community, diverse Black community has many requests of City Hall where this came from.
Yeah, so it did come from the community informally. There was, to be totally frank with you, a little bit of disappointment over the significance of how we marked Black History Month this year. And I think council collectively, I know at least for our caucus, recognized that we need to do more to mark the occasion. So this is part of that.
Yeah, thanks.
Great, thank you very much. So council, is there any discussion? Okay, I'm going to call the vote. Clerk, can you please take us to the voting screen? And council, please register your vote on the voting panel. Great, and it passes, request to speak, sorry. Nope, oh, for the next, sorry. All right, just wanted to make sure I didn't miss anything. Okay, so it passes, the motion passes unanimously with Councillors Dominato, Bly, and Fry absent. Okay, sorry, and Councillor Kirby-Young, you're just getting in queue for, yeah, flag me when I have to go there. Sorry. Notices of council member motions. Are there any notices of council member motions for upcoming council meetings? Ah, there we go. Is that you?
That is me.
That is you. Awesome.
Thank you. I do have one notice of motion entitled Amping Up Arts Event License Policy to Support Arts and Culture in Vancouver, co-submitted by myself and Councillor Meisner, and it's for the March 28th council meeting.
Okay. Awesome, great. And let's see, please, reminder to please state the title, which you've done, of the motion, and the date of the council meeting, which you've done, on which you intend to move the motion, and be sure to send the title via email to the clerk. Perfect. Okay, Councillor Meisner.
Thank you, Mayor. Yes, I have a notice of motion. The title is Waterworks Bylaw Exemptions and or Viable Exemptions for Notable Decorative City Water Features, and intend to move this on March 28th, 2023.
Awesome, great. Thank you very much. Okay, seeing no other council member motions, we'll move to new business. We have one item of new business on the agenda today, which are requests for leaves of absence as follows. For myself, for personal reasons, from meetings tonight from 6 to 10 p.m. and also on April the 18th through 21st, 2023. Councillor Fry for civic business from meetings on March the 7th, 2023 from 9:30 a.m. to noon, and March 8th, 2023 from 3 p.m. to 10 p.m. Councillor Carr for personal reasons from meetings on April the 4th, 5th, and 6th, 2023 from 3 to 10 p.m. Councillor Carr for civic business from meetings on May the 23rd, 2023 from 6 to 10 p.m. Would someone like to move the motion? Councillor Klassen, seconded by Councillor Joe. All those in favor say yay. Okay. All those opposed say nay. Great, the motion carries unanimously. Council, are there any other items of new business? And it looks like we have a list. Councillor Carr.
Yes, I'd like to request a leave of absence for personal reasons on Thursday, March 9th. It's the council reserve meeting from 3 to 5 p.m.
Thank you. So noted. Councillor Joe.
Yeah, I also want to put forward a leave of absence request for Councillor Dominato. for March 7th, today, from 6 to 10 p.m. for the civic business reason.
Sorry, can you pause 1 second? So we have to vote on that. Okay. So Councillor
Okay.
Joe, I totally apologize.
Oh, no
here.
worries.
New business, you moved it. Do we need a seconder? Can someone please second? Great, thank you. Councillor Klassen, all those in favor of Councillor Carr's new business say yay. Okay. All those opposed say nay. Great. The motion carries unanimously. Now, Councillor Joe, does he have to repeat it again or are we good? I'm sorry, you have to repeat that again. Great, thank you. Okay, can someone second the motion? Great, Councillor Boyle, all those in favor say yay. Okay, all those opposed say nay. Great, the motion carries unanimously. And Councillor Klassen.
Thank you, Mayor. I have a travel request to the BC Care Providers Association Annual Conference in this May.
Okay.
And that has been in the queue, or it's been emailed to the fellow council.
Okay, do we have to put that to discussion or whatever, or do? Okay, so moved by Councillor Klassen. Can we get a seconder, please? Councillor Joe. Okay, so is there? Sorry, do I go through questions first, then debate? We straight to debate. Great. Do any councillors have anything to debate on this motion? Probably didn't use the right terminology, but I think we all get the point. Okay, great. So let's put it to a vote. All those in favor say yay. Okay. All those opposed say nay. Great. The motion carries unanimously. Council, are there any other items of new business? Councillor Klassen, are you on the on here again, or is you're done?
That's
Okay. Sorry, my bad. Okay. Council, are there any inquiries or other matters? No. Okay. May we have a oh, sorry. I thought I got the hang of this. Councillor Carr, I apologize.
No problem. Yeah, actually, I do have an inquiry, and it is to you, Mayor.
Okay.
And I noticed in the news media that you had a coffee shop meeting with the Prime Minister. And there were a number of items on the agenda that the media related or relayed that you talked about, including climate action, with the media reporting also that the Prime Minister was interested in issues around equity as well on that. I'm wondering if you had any discussions specifically about the way the federal government might be able to help the city on the climate action and equity issues in terms of retrofitting buildings, especially for vulnerable people. We know 99 seniors died in Vancouver during the heat dome. So did that at all come up in your discussions?
We had some, so thank you for that. That's a great question. We did have some broad conversations, but it was more from a 30,000 foot level. So when we talked about the environment, we talked about transportation, how, it'd be great if we had more, whatever support we can as part of a region for more investments into TransLink to fund the TransLink 2050 plan. We talked about wastewater investments, like with Iona. We talked about climate resiliency. We also talked about the seawall and reimagining the seawall so it works for everyone, and what that could look like with reimagined and highly efficient, multimodal transportation routes to augment the current infrastructure. But on a micro level, with specifics directed to individual buildings, we didn't get there.
I didn't mean individual buildings, but just in
Yeah,
general, the
yeah.
idea of the federal government has been supportive of retrofitting. In fact, it was I think the Prime Minister's father, the first Prime Minister Trudeau, who had RAP grants, Residence Rehabilitation Assistance Program, that really helped a lot of people retrofit homes in Vancouver.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. I thank you. I appreciate
Awesome, great.
that level of extra information.
Great, thank you for the question. Are there any other inquiries or other matters? No? Okay, may we please have a motion to adjourn this meeting? Councillor Montague, your hand just shot up there. Councillor Kirby Young, all those in favor say yay. Yay. All those opposed say nay. Great, this meeting is adjourned. Did we set a record? That was 46 minutes. Yeah, awesome. Great, thank you, everyone. Yeah, we're still at 1 o'clock. Yeah.